There's been a lot of hype for Disney's Star Wars installments, and with Disney owning Star Wars and Marvel, it was just a matter of time before we ended up seeing Star Wars come back to Marvel. So finally, for the first time since 1987, Marvel has the rights to Star Wars back. In this opening issue, the crew of the Millennium Falcon attempt to infiltrate an Imperial factory by posing as negotiators for Jabba the Hutt. The plan goes well until we learn that the negotiator on the Emperor's behalf is Darth Vader. This issue had some problems, but I still enjoyed it thoroughly. To start off with the title crawl and the reveal of the Star Wars logo, and is immediately followed by a shot of the ship they fly in that is reminiscent of Episode 4's opening. These are cool thematic choices that help validate this comic and make it feel more like Star Wars. The problem with this issue is Darth Vader. I don't think Darth Vader would come down and negotiate the somewhat trivial deal to buy material, especially being the Emperor's right-hand man. They could have sent down an Imperial negotiator, so he was unnecessary to have there. Hopefully they don't overuse Vader. It may cause him to seem incompetent if they're able to constantly evade being captured or killed. But the characters in this comic act almost exactly as they did in Episode 4, which also helps the book feel like Star Wars. The only time I feel anyone acted really out of character is when Leia asked Chewbacca to shoot at Darth Vader if he had the shot. I think it would have worked better with Han, as he's more cocky and it seems like something he would be more willing to do. One of the biggest problems in the prequels is the overuse of lightsabers and the Force as an offensive tool. This comic does a good job of not overusing lightsabers, and when Luke uses the Force, he uses it to sense where slaves are in order to save them. He also uses the Force when Obi-Wan contacts him at the end of the comic. It's nice that in this comic we get to see the Force as something other than just an offensive means used by the Jedi. Finally, I want to address the art. The art in this issue is very good, with the characters' likenesses looking very similar to the original actors. Another thing to compliment this book on was the gray backgrounds and how they looked a lot like the original Star Wars sets we saw in the film. Overall, issue 1 of Star Wars is pretty good. The art and writing help craft a story that feels a lot like the original films. It's clear the book was made to cater to fans of the original series, and it did a good job at it. My main hope for the future is to see less Vader and more side characters that were less important or underused in the original trilogy. I have high hopes for the book and would recommend it highly to a fan of the original Star Wars trilogy and a comic fan in general.